Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. No good. No good.
Bottom line, the American dream, the great American dream versus being a socialist hellhole.
And he's like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And he's, this is on live television. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. 8 months after his alleged meeting with the Burmese executives, so this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese, a real beautiful company. Not good, believe me, not good. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. But those with the lowest IQ.
Retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. And he's like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help. And he's, this is on live television. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Hello? Hello? Whoa, buddy, is this thing on? Holy shit, fuck. I think it's on! Yo, I can't speak anymore. I was talking all night. Is it on? It's on. It looks like it's on, everybody! It's on! Yo, the live stream. I love the live stream. Alright, everyone. Give me a sec. Yeah, screaming all night and smoking all night does a number on your esophageal glands. But yes, the election has happened. The people have voted. Now we don't know the results of the voting yet. This is, of course, Above It All, episode 1011, coming at you at noon Eastern Time on November 4th, 2020. That's where we're at right now. That's the society that we're living in at this current moment in time. And I've got some good news coming. If you haven't been online yet, Wisconsin. Joe Biden wins Wisconsin, according to reports. So, let me just pop this on. So, this is the chair of the Democratic Party in Wisconsin. And they're announcing that Joe Biden has won Wisconsin by about 20,000 votes. And, woo! Woo! Right? Wow! What was the margin last time? About the same? I should have looked that up, but there you go. Joe Biden wins Wisconsin, according to the Democratic chair of Wisconsin. So if that's the case, right, and you add that to the current total, we would really only need Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is really the last state that we really desperately kind of need right now. Pennsylvania, the current status of Pennsylvania is there's about 1 million. According to the governor of Pennsylvania, there's about 1 million mail-in ballots. So we'll see how this goes. But Wisconsin has been called for Joe Biden. So everyone rest a little bit easier. Another successful flip from 2016. Wisconsin on the Democratic side. So, now again, anything is possible here. This election, we know. I'm just, got to cover my bases. But this is... anything is possible. Anything is possible. I wouldn't count your blessings until Donald Trump has conceded. And let's be honest, we knew that wasn't going to happen. And we know it's not going to happen. So, we need to do this. And Wisconsin has done it, apparently. But yeah, that's good news. That's good news. That makes me happy, actually. So, Wisconsin, actually, being able to win provides to me the resources that I need in order to feel like the world isn't falling apart. The U.S. should invade itself to give a true democracy, says Dev J. Honestly, not against that. Not against that. I'm drinking a soy-based coffee drink at the current moment. So that's currently what I'm doing. I'm sorry if my voice is just like so fucky right now. But, again, had a rough night. So, a rough night. Rough night. Damn, though. This is some crazy stuff. So here's a nice little Easter egg. So a nice little Easter egg about the 2020 election. Now we know that a majority of Trump people were the people when going to the polls on election day in a lot of these states. And Fox News had some exit polls. So let's check these out. So changing to a government-run healthcare plan, 39% of the country, right, that ostensibly voted on election day, which is overwhelmingly supporting of Trump, 39% of the country advocates and is strongly in favor of a government-run healthcare plan. 33% of the country is also in favor, but not like 100% sold. That's 72% of the United States of America that supports government-run healthcare. We need to understand that this is a problem. This electoral system is a problem in this country. Joe Biden should have never been the nominee. I've been telling you this from the get-go. Joe Biden should have never been the nominee. Bernie had it. Everything was looking good. Obama came in. Pete Buttigieg tried to cheat, right? They did this whole shebang just so that you couldn't have health care. Let's look at the other polls. Supreme Court action on Roe v. Wade. 71% want to leave Roe v. Wade as it is. Now, again, I don't know the full things here. Like, we'll get more info on these polls later. But 71% of people that voted on election day, ostensibly, I don't know if they are counterbalancing that with early votes and I don't know what the methodology is, but 71%. Now keep in mind we have a 6-3 far-right conservative Supreme Court. Far-right conservative Supreme Court. Sorry, I didn't get that much sleep last night. As I don't think much of us got much sleep, but 71% of the country disagrees with what the Supreme Court's agenda is. Gun laws. 55% of Americans think that we should have more strict gun laws. Less strict, 12%. Keep as is, 33%. Really, the Trumpers are the ones that are going for less strict most of the time, but keep as is, you know, that adds up to about Trump's margins in voters. What should happen to illegal immigrants in the United States? Pathway to citizenship, 72%. These are Fox News exit poll analyses. 72% of people that voted on Election Day, I think is how they did the poll, want illegal immigrants to have a pathway to citizenship instead of being deported. Reminder, Trump was the majority and the favorite to win with Election Day voting. If you don't count early votes, if you don't count mail-ins, there were polls done. Trump is favored to win for Election Day voting and only Election Day voting. And of those Election Day voters, 72% want a pathway to citizenship for immigrants in this country. So I just want to remind everyone, our electoral system is broken. Is it beyond repair? It might be. But are the people beyond repair? Are the people in this country broken? I think a lot of them are, but not nearly as many that we would otherwise like to tell ourselves. And that leads me to this real quick. So, I want to talk about this, and this is something that I think is profound for this election, and that's that Donald Trump got more votes in 2020 than he did in 2016. So I've got the New York Times open. They've already reported 66.6 million votes for Donald Trump. By the way, isn't that a little interesting as I make this video? Donald Trump has 66.6 million votes. What? So I've got the 2016 results open on Wikipedia here. Why not? That's more than Hillary Clinton got in 2016. That's more than he got in 2016. That's about 3.5 million more votes than he got in 2016. Now, I want to say this. One of the major things I was wrong about on this election was I did not think that Trump would be able to get more votes. I also am very surprised that Joe Biden's running up on 70 million. That's a pretty decent number. But I was very shocked to see Donald Trump get more votes than he did in 2016. There are 3.5 million people that voted for Donald Trump that did not in 2016. But what you have to understand is that that's only about 20% of the country. I did the math. 66.66, by the way, the number updated, 66.66 million people is about 20% of this country. And that lines up with other polls that I've talked about on this show. About 25 to 30% of North Americans are openly authoritarian right-wingers. About 25 to 30% of Americans are always on the wrong side of issues. Again, I just covered a Fox News poll. 70% of the country, apparently, wants a pathway to citizenship for immigrants. And what is 100 minus 70? That's 30. But 30% of this country are fascist. And it just so happens that that's an overwhelmingly high number when it comes to those of us that vote in this country. But I want to be honest, that was one thing I was wrong about. I did not expect Donald Trump to get more votes than he did in 2016. That was I made my electoral map based on the principle that Donald Trump would not be able to get more votes. I did not think that would happen. The idea that Donald Trump has gotten more votes in the last 4 years, to me. Barack Obama, if you look at got Wikipedia open here, you can do this. Barack Obama lost votes, 65 million versus 69 million. Now again, Joe Biden looks to beat Barack Obama's 2008 voter turnout. It's already happened, actually. But Barack Obama lost 5 million votes on his re-election bid. Donald Trump is set to win about 4 million votes on his re-election bid. What the fuck is going on with this country? Seriously? Seriously? That is shocking. It's shocking. And that's one thing that I'm going to be honest. Like, that's probably the thing that I've been wrong about. I think that, like, everything else, it seems, like, I was saying last night that Trump would declare victory at 2 a.m. He declared victory at 2:15. He was a little late. In my defense, the press conference started at 2, but he was late. In my defense. So I was right about almost everything that happened last night. And you can rewind the tape on my show and see what I was talking about. But the one thing I was wrong about was I did not think that Donald Trump would win more votes this time than he did last time. But he did. And that's a huge problem. That's a huge problem. Jeez Louise, dude. Jeez Louise. Wow. Aren't I glad that Joe Biden was the nominee? Because if it was Bernie, all those Cubans in Florida would have voted for Trump because socialism no bueno. Exactly. Exactly. They would have just voted for Trump. Exactly. That's exactly correct. I think we can suffice it to say that Florida is a red state. It's not a swing state anymore. There's a lot of trauma that has been instilled in this country from 2000. Florida being a swing state, that is no longer the case. I'm sorry. I got a bunch of other stuff to talk about though. There's a lot that happened, and I'm probably going to cover like maybe another show. I'll do like House races and Senate races and stuff. But while we're on the subject of Florida voted for Donald Trump in the 2020 election. And you know what they also did? They voted to approve a $15 minimum wage in their state. Florida voters on Tuesday approved a ballot initiative, this is from The Hill, to raise the state's minimum wage to $15 over the next 6 years. Over the next 6 years is a little bollocks, right? But still. The referendum, Amendment 2, won with more than 60% of the vote. 60% of Floridians voted for a $15 minimum wage, yet Donald Trump won the state. Think about that. Under the amendment, the state's minimum wage will be raised from $8.56 to $10 an hour beginning September 2021. The wage will increase $1 annually through September 2026. Again, this is a very conservative plan, but still, 60% of the vote on Florida for a higher minimum wage. Now again, it's a pretty bad plan, and it's going to take a while. By the time the $15 is the minimum wage in Florida, $25 to $30 would be a more proper minimum wage. Again, $1 per year increase. That doesn't even really outpace inflation when you really think about it. So, but still, that's crazy. Again, you got to take the victories. That's what I want to talk about tonight, is we have to take the victories as they come. Because, let's be honest, there aren't that many of them these days. Let's be honest. Things aren't looking so good. So, I think we should be able to take what we can get here. And that's going to help a lot of people. $15 minimum wage is going to help a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of fucking people. So we have to think about that. Because elections are first and foremost about helping people. And there you go. And I want to say, speaking of helping people, let's talk about marijuana. Let's talk about marijuana. So we got some states weighing in on marijuana this election. And I'm reading here from the NPR. When it comes to ballot initiatives, many Americans voted green. I wish many Americans voted green. By the way, I will make fun of the Green Party, but I won't do that right now. I won't make fun of the Green Party right now, but I will at some point. The Associated Press says voters in 5 states have approved measures to legalize medical or recreational marijuana, or both, in Tuesday's election. Voters in Arizona, New Jersey, Montana, and South Dakota voted to legalize recreational marijuana for people ages 21 or older, joining 11 states and Washington, D.C. That's incredible. Again, South Dakota being on that list, Montana being on that list, that's incredible. And again, this is a huge win. This helps and is going to improve the lives of millions and millions of people. And that's what we need to understand. And it's not like an abstract, oh, Biden might get pushed left. Biden might pass good legislation if he gets pushed left, y'all. Maybe. No. Right? This is a direct thing that's going to help the people of this country. Millions of people's lives are going to be better from this. South Dakotans also approved a measure to establish a medical marijuana program in the state for individuals with debilitating medical conditions. According to the Marijuana Policy Project, that makes South Dakota the first state to legalize medical and adult use marijuana on the same day. In Mississippi, 2 versions of a medical marijuana amendment were on the ballot. One proposed allowing doctors in the state to prescribe medical marijuana to people with certain conditions, while the other restricted the program to terminally ill patients. Voters were required to weigh in on both, and the first option won out. Medical marijuana was previously legal in 33 states and Washington, D.C. Several states have declared dispensaries essential businesses during the coronavirus pandemic. Other states have made strides toward relaxing drug laws. Voters in Oregon supported a measure decriminalizing drug possession, including cocaine and heroin and other, legalizing the therapeutic use of psilocybin mushrooms. And I'm going to talk about that more specifically in a second. But my whole point here, this is what this is my thing last night during this whole debacle. This is my thing today that I want to maintain. Is, yes, things are going to be hectic, things are scary, right? But you have to understand, we knew that this was going to happen. We knew that this was going to happen. We had this all documented. We were talking about this for weeks. Donald Trump's going to do this. Again, I guessed that Donald Trump would declare victory at 2 a.m. He did it at 2:15. Now, again, in my defense, the press conference started at 2, but he was fashionably late. What are you going to do? So we knew that this was going to happen. So again, we have to take what we can get. And that is a pretty big get, I have to say. That's a pretty big get. Skeptical Mantis, going for full dullard mode. We made progress on marijuana without electing Joe Biden. But Andrea kept repeating how marijuana was one of the main reasons we needed to elect Biden. Yes, if marijuana were legalized in every state, that would be great. That would be a lot better than if marijuana is legalized in 4 states. It being legalized in 4 states is great. That's way better than what it is currently. But 50 states is better than 4. And that's my point. So I'm sorry, but that's a little bit of a silly one. Come on, man. You can do better. You can do better. I believe in you. I believe in you. I think Trump's vote base was just from the Joe Jorgensen anti-BLM crowd. That has to be. That has to be what happened. So, like I said earlier, Oregon becomes the first state in the United States to decriminalize hard drugs. So first of all, I want to say, who wants to move to Oregon? Because I'm down. Let's go. Second of all, let's read this article. This is from CBS 42. Again, let's take the wins as they come in. This election wasn't just Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. There's so much going on in these elections, and this is huge. This is huge. This is huge. Portland, Oregon. 50 years after the war on drugs began in the 1970s, Oregon voters decided on an alternative path. Decriminalization for the user amounts of illicit substances and accompanying recovery treatment options instead of jail time. Oregonians have approved Measure 110, which decriminalizes possession of small amounts of heroin, cocaine, LSD, oxycodone, and some other hard drugs, according to the Associated Press. The approved measure makes Oregon the first state in the nation to decriminalize hard drugs, along with the legislation of therapeutic use of psilocybin mushrooms. Let's go, baby! Again, who wants to move to Oregon? I'm down. Oregon commune? Let's do it. The initiative will reclassify personal drug possession to a Class E violation with a maximum $100 fine. It does not affect people selling or manufacturing illegal drugs. People caught with user amounts of drugs could get the fine waived by completing a health assessment, during which they could be connected with treatment, recovery, and housing services. Again, that could be a program to get homeless people in an apartment or a house. This is good stuff. Janie Gullickson, one of the chief petitioners, spent 22 years addicted to methamphetamine, beginning early in her teenage years. Despite coming from a relatively privileged background, her drug use spiraled out of control. Measure 110 is an idea that on the surface might sound appealing or compelling, but when you look at it, it's a very dangerous measure. Washington County District Attorney Kevin Barton told KOIN 6 News. It's dangerous. I love that. I love the opposition is just like, it's evil, the devil, and it's like, it's great. Oh my god. But yeah, so this is huge. This is really important, and I wanted to highlight this because, again, we have to talk about the wins. We have to talk about the fucking wins. It's not just about losing. Everyone's like, we're losing. Shut the fuck up, motherfucker. Seriously, get your shit together. What are you, 6 years old? We knew what was gonna happen. Shit happened exactly as we thought. You know? Shit happened exactly as we thought. So, but I did not think that Oregon would decriminalize cocaine. I didn't know that that was really a measure. So, I came into this election thinking that the presidential election was going to be a shit show. I came out of this election so far thinking, okay, the presidential election's a shit show, and Oregon decriminalized cocaine. Okay, so like, as far as I'm concerned, this is a net positive for me. This is a net positive. North Carolina re-elected our Democratic governor. That's a net positive. As far as I'm concerned, we have won this election. Good things have already happened, and that's what we need to remember. So, yeah, that's my thought. My thought and my prayer. My thought and my prayer. I would like to remind everyone that I am uploading the audio version of this podcast on Anchor FM. It's also on Spotify and some other adjacent stuff. I think it's going to be on Google as well. So if you want to listen to the podcast, you can listen to it on those platforms. I will be uploading it basically as soon as the show is over. First thing I'm going to do is upload it on there. And yeah, so if you're interested in that, you know, if you miss parts of the show and want to do it on your fucking thingy, whatever you're driving or milking a cow, whatever this is, right? Who knows? Whenever you're doing that kind of stuff, you can listen to the audio version of the show. So throwing that out there, because I think that that's important to know. I think that that's important information. So, but yeah. In other news, important information, California and Prop 22 didn't seem to be going so well. So this is from the Washington Post. California voters sided with Uber, denying drivers benefits by classifying them as contractors. So, for those of you that don't know, there's been a lot of propaganda in California based on this. Every time you use one of these rideshare apps, you get a little advertisement also pronounced as advertisement on your phone saying, reminder to vote yes on Prop 22, enjoy your ride, blah, blah, blah. So this is just a heavily propagandized campaign. I think this is the most money that corporations have spent on a proposition, on an election. I remember hearing that this is like they've spent more money on this than they have on anything in the last like couple dozen years. So the state measure, Proposition 22, will make drivers independent contractors according to California law. That would supersede a new law known as AB 5, intended to grant drivers full employment, including minimum wage protections, health care, and such benefits as unemployment and sick leave. So this is pretty bad. We know that these rideshare companies, they banked on the idea that there would be self-driving cars and that they could reap the profits off of them. And self-driving cars haven't panned out as much as they hoped. So they're losing money by doing this. This is a money loss scheme. So the only way that they can gain money is by having their workers be underpaid, undernourished, and underinsured. That's the only way that they can do it. And this is just, again, this is like, we have to keep in mind on the wins on this election, but this is a pretty big loss, I think. Because California is a huge state. And so there is a potential of giving employment benefits to a lot of people, potentially millions of people. And this acts as a precedent as well. They're going to try to do all this kind of stuff maybe federally or in other states. And now they have a blueprint. They have got a map to follow to guarantee the lack of worker protections for people that work for them. So I just wanted to point this out. This is bad. But you can't win them all. You can't win them all, but still, that really sucks. Well, I would recommend not using Uber or Lyft if you can help it in the future. I would recommend getting rid of those applications if you've got them. Why is Skeptical Mantis so concerned over like one reason to vote for Joe Biden? If he doesn't decriminalize the marijuana, I'm going to be pissed. Hello? So you're acting so desperate for like some weird gotcha that you're throwing out like a hypothetical 4-year scenario where I forget about decriminalized marijuana. Yeah, I just forget. Yeah, I forget. I've got a habit that I partake in on a near daily basis. I'm just going to forget about it. I'm just going to wake up one day and just forget that I like smoking weed. I'm just going to forget, says Skeptical Mantis. All right. Maybe that day will come. I'll just wake up and I'll be like, damn, I forgot. I don't know, what are you saying? What is that? Hello? I'll forget about decriminalizing marijuana? That's a single issue vote for me. There's evangelicals that will shoot up abortion clinics, right? Because of their single issue vote. Mine is marijuana. But I'm just gonna forget, says Skeptical Mantis. I'll just forget. I'm gonna fucking forget. I'm gonna try to forget. I'm gonna try to fucking forget. That's what I'm gonna try to forget. I'm gonna try to fucking forget. I wish I could forget, right? I wish I could forget. God damn. I'm gonna fucking forget. I'm sorry, but that's just so funny. Okay? Whew. God damn. Habit is a nice euphemism. Thank you very much, Mr. Freakletcher. Alright, so I want to talk about the big moment last night. I uploaded a separate video, which you can watch, of my live reaction to this. But I got some sleep. I got about 5 hours of sleep. And I stewed it over. And I've thought more. And so first of all, I want to underline. The results of this election are unknown. We don't know the winner yet of the presidential race. The votes are still being counted. States like Pennsylvania will be counting votes until November 6th. North Carolina could theoretically be counting votes up until, I don't know, a week or so from now as well. I don't remember the exact date. So we don't know. Depending on how close this is, we're not going to know for a little bit. But what we did know, and what I've predicted weeks ago, is that Donald Trump would declare victory. Now, if you want to watch my election coverage from last night, we streamed the whole thing, 10 hours of election coverage starting at around 4 p.m. all the way up until about 3 a.m. So whatever that turns into. I guessed that Donald Trump would declare victory anywhere from maybe midnight to 2 a.m. And Donald Trump started his press conference at 2 a.m. So, now he was fashionably late. He was 15 minutes late. But I just want to say, we knew that this was coming, but it doesn't really make it any less scary.
So we won there. We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped.
Now, he's talking about North Carolina here, I think. So I want you to pay attention to this language because it's purposely vague. It's unclear, right? Like, just listen to this.
76,000 votes with almost nothing left.
With almost nothing left. What does that mean? What is almost nothing? What is almost nothing? So it's not nothing. So it's not zero. It's almost zero. Well, what is almost compared to? I mean, you got 66 million votes, so almost could be like, I don't know, 1 million votes? Is that almost zero? Is that almost nothing? I don't know, but like, keep listening to this. Again, purposely shady and vague gangster talk.
Almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped.
And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. Again, like, what does that mean? Stopped counting? They didn't stop counting. They just didn't call the states. So what stopped? Did the votes stop? Did people stop voting? Because that's true. The polls closed. But what stopped? Just because a state is close enough to the point where they don't call it doesn't mean that something stops. But listen to this. Again, this is very smarmy gangster talk. You need to really understand this. This is something that I love picking apart language and the way people speak. I love that normally. But you have to understand the way people speak here. Like freedom, liberty. Like these words don't mean anything. Like you have to understand.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment.
This is an embarrassment. So he just said that he won. Like, let's just understand this, okay? He's saying that he's winning with almost nothing left. He's declaring victory in a state like North Carolina that he did not win yet. And then he's saying it's a fraud. Well, what's a fraud? This is a fraud? There's almost nothing left? That's a fraud? They didn't call a state? That's a fraud? What's the fraud? He just says this is a fraud. What is the fraud?
We won there. We lead by 76,000 votes with almost nothing left. And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public.
What's the fraud?
This is an embarrassment to our country.
What is?
We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
And there it is. Again, he declared victory in an election before the votes were counted. Again, we knew this was going to happen, but it doesn't make it any less chilling and scary that the President of the United States is attempting a coup. Now, he also, I think later, says directly that this will be going to the Supreme Court.
So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots.
So here's the thing. The voting has already stopped. The polls were closed. North Carolina stopped voting at 7:30 p.m. The voting has already stopped. It's the counting. There are no results until the votes have been counted. There's speculation. You can call a state if it looks like it's going to win. But the result of an election cannot flip when more votes are counted. The result of an election is when the votes are counted. You can't just find a mysterious bag of ballots and then just say, oh, this changes the result. Because when you find that mysterious bag of ballots, that probably isn't so mysterious, because they've been doing court cases to sequester them and throw them in different piles so that they can later try to nullify them with the Supreme Court, right? But when they open those, it's not like those ballots, like people were secretly voting. Oh, I voted on November 8th and then like broke into the USPS and snuck my ballot into the bag. That's not what's happening here. The voting has ended. The voting is over. It's gone. There's no more voting, folks.
So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list. Okay?
What?
It's a very sad moment. To me, this is a very sad moment. And we will win this. And as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it. So I just want to thank you.
So there it is, folks. Donald Trump declaring himself the winner of the 2020 election against the better judgment of the English language. We knew it was going to happen. Again, I called it almost to the minute the press conference started. You know, I gave myself a window. I said 12 to 2. Started at 2. So, we called it. I was telling you this from the get-go. But, again, you need to know this is the kind of way that this person speaks. This is the smarmy, snake oil bullshit of giving you a bunch of vague, gray nothing in word form. And that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. Whew! Anyway, I'm gonna probably be live later today. But I think the main show for today is over. I'm probably going to be streaming later, though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all the editing for the show, put it on the Anchor, you know, get the audio version out, and then do all the YouTube clips, and then I will be streaming probably in, I don't know, maybe 2 hours from now. And we'll see what I'll do. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, so we'll see. But yeah, everyone stay confident, stay alert, must be vigilant, everybody, must be vigilant. And like I said last night, we're fine, we got this, So I will see you all in a little bit. Thank you for watching Above It All for November 4th, 2020, certainly a fun app, so thank you, y'all have a good one.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
And he's like this, and we will, I need water, help me, I need water, help.
Antifa exists. Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? No. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ. Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ